Hello and welcome to the Comedy Studio Podcast, the
only
podcast. Rick, I like how you mouth that along, mouth along to that silently.
I haven't been introduced yet.
You haven't been introduced. You are just a guest. I'm your host, Danny Hatch. Your other host is Eli Levy. Welcome to the show, Eli. It's been a while since I asked you this. How's that book?
Oh, I finished it.
You finished it.
I finished a book.
How did it end? Did it have a satisfying conclusion?
Yeah, it ended with life lessons, and very famous people said very inspiring things, and it was nice.
This is the Mark Maron podcast transcription book.
Yeah, and then I got off the toilet and went back to real life. I was like, oh, I didn't learn anything from that book.
Well, but maybe every time you go back onto the toilet, you'll remember all the great lessons you learned.
Life on the toilet is so much better than life outside of the toilet.
It is. It's a safe place. You know, the comedian Joe Pera, very funny comedian, just announced a new book. It's a bathroom reader for people who go to the bathroom not to poop or pee, but to escape from social situations, which I think is very funny. Our special guest today, he's the inventor of Rick's Towel, the only see-through bath towel. Please welcome to the show, Rick Jenkins. And there he is holding up the towel.
That's for when it's time to throw in the towel.
Mm-hmm.
See.
No, explain it to me.
I can write jokes.
You're our only guest today. You're in the hot seat the whole time.
Oh, great.
It's going to be like, an episode of the aforementioned Mark Maron's podcast. Who are your guys?
I have not been listening to it lately. Have you?
Here and there, but not regularly.
No, not in a while.
Yeah.
I only like the first 15 minutes or so, and then I find it gets a little dull.
Really? A lot of people skip past the...
I know.
I see. You're being sarcastic.
Yes. I do like those first 15 minutes, though. I think people are too harsh on it. And It's like, the guy's making a fucking podcast. Let him talk. Everyone bitches about, oh, he talks too long at first. So what? It's his podcast. He can talk.
Yeah, and you can go ahead.
Yeah. That's what they put those buttons there for. I might have told this story before. And in fact, I didn't actually see this. Just someone told me about it. And now I'm telling it as if it's a story. But there's a show called Shtick or Treat that runs in New York, and I think maybe some other cities. It's a comedy show where it's a Halloween show, and comedians dress up as other comedians and like do their acts or version of their acts on stage. And I heard someone one year went as Mark Maron, and his whole act was like talking for a little bit and then like making fast forwarding sounds and talking for a little bit and making fast groveling through the intro, which is clever. Certainly insulting, but a clever take nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like your muting powers, except even
That's
a little
true.
bit
It is
more
like my
disrespectful.
muting powers. Oh, if only I could fast forward it in real time on this podcast. That'd be
just
like
make
the
the
Adam
noises.
Sandler movie.
Just make the noises.
You guys seen that movie Click with Adam Sandler where he gets the magic remote control?
Yeah, I rented that from Blockbuster. That's how long ago I saw that movie.
Did it? Yeah, I saw it when it came out in theaters. I pulled the weeds for 2 hours so my mom would give me the money to go see it with my friend Jeff Levy, who shares Eli's last name. Did you see it? Did it make you cry, Eli?
I did not expect it to get that serious, but yeah, it was
fucking cry in the movie theater. It was Adam Sandler movie at the end. I was so mad. Have you seen it, Rick?
No, I thought it was just like a comedy where he can freeze.
The trailer makes it sound like it's a comedy, but it actually gets real serious with like the time travel thing.
Yeah, he gets this magic remote and he can fast forward through the boring parts of life, but then he realizes he's like missing the best parts of life and hanging out with his family. Mm-hmm. And then like the remote gets stuck and it fast forwards him like 30, 40 years into the future, and he's dying and he's estranged from his kids, and like I think there's a scene where he like runs out of a hospital and then he falls down in the rain and he's like crying for his adult son to come back, and he like dies in the rain. This is a scene in this fucking Click movie.
That's just a scene. That's not that's not fade to black.
No. And then it turns out it was a dream, or was it at the end?
Well, you almost spoiled Click for everybody listening.
It's a 16-year-old movie. But it really made me cry in the movie theater. It was like 15 or whatever.
It was very serious. I think I rented it to like get high with my friends.
Yeah, and then they tricked you.
Yeah,
pulled a
That's
fast
one of those questions I've always never really been able to figure out. If someone could tell you how and when you were going to die, would you want to know?
No, I wouldn't know.
Sounds like you thought about this.
Would you? Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, also, like, I grew up in the generation that watches Doctor Who, and that's like one of the big things is like, do you want to know like how stuff ends? And you really don't, because you can't necessarily change it. And if you know it and you can change it, then you don't know how it ends anymore. So it really doesn't matter, because if somebody tells you how it's going to end and you can change it, then it's not going to be the same outcome. But if you can't change it, then there's literally nothing you do matters. So both outcomes are bad.
I wonder, though, if you knew that you had 2 years as opposed to having 40 years, if that would affect what sort of projects you're going to work on. I mean, are you going to open a new business knowing it's going to take 40 years and you're not going to be there? Are you going to have a kid? Yeah, are you going to...
Oh, yeah, I mean, it would affect your decisions,
what you would be around for.
But you'd also...
I'd have a kid. If I had 2 years, I'd have a kid. Best years of a kid's life, those first 2 years. Well, I guess 1 year and, 3 months?
And then that 4th year is going to be the worst year of that kid's life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and your partner would have to have a say in it, I would think.
No, it's my life. My body, my choice.
Are they going to affect those 4 years? I don't think so.
Where the hell did this kid come from?
That's what happens in Click.
Hey, I left you a little something. I'll see you in 4 years.
So, Rick, you ever cried in a movie theater? You ever see one of those Pixar movies?
Yeah. When I was 6, I went to see Planet of the Apes, and it scared the shit out of me.
Oh,
cried, had to be carried out crying.
Wow.
When I was in like the 6th grade, I went to like this cornfield maze in Halloween, and it scared the hell out of me, and I cried and ran out. There's like a part where some guys with like chainsaws at the end, they took the chains off, but it still like turns on and makes the sound, and they chase you, and I was like, I didn't like it.
That's funny. That must be a staple of haunted houses, because I remember when I was a kid that at the end was the chainsaw section. So that must be like, a standby. What was it about Planet of the Apes that made you cry? Was it the Statue of Liberty at the end?
No, I think it was just the costumes. The costumes and the jail cell and hosing them down and that sort of nightmare. Yeah, I don't think I was following the plot.
Why were you watching Planet? Your parents took you, I assume.
Yeah, we were like 6 years old, so a bunch of the neighborhood kids. One of the brings us 8 of us.
I see. It was rated G.
But it was in one of those old big theaters that was a vaudeville house, and that they turned into a really cool movie theater with the balcony, and the bathroom was the urinals were ceiling to floor. It was all sorts of cool stuff. So
sounds like the bathroom made more of an impression on you than the movie.
Yes, because and back in that day when you had the you had your big bathrooms and everything, that was when it was like, okay, you're in a movie theater, be careful when you go to the bathroom, there are going to be gays there.
Really?
Oh yeah. So you were warned when you went to the bathroom, you were warned that somebody might want to be inappropriate. It wasn't spelled out what. It was just like, be careful, there's dangerous people in there.
Let me guess, was that the Catholic Church telling you that? Beware of the movie theaters. That's where all the gay shit happens.
Yeah, that's where all the priests hang out.
Yeah, it was always just this vague sort of, if you're in the bathroom by yourself, be careful because shit could go down.
Eli, I'm glad you brought up Catholicism, actually.
I bring it up a lot, don't I?
Well, you do bring it up a lot. We all do, to be fair. And we bring up Judaism a lot as well. We're a very well-rounded show. Rick, you and I are both, of course, practicing Catholics. I wanted to get your take on this anti-Catholic bias I'm seeing regarding Judge nominee Amy Coney Barrett. It's anti-Catholic bias, Rick. Have you heard about this? Apparently criticizing a Catholic now is widely anti-Catholic bias.
I believe, isn't it part of the thing is the group that she belongs to is an offshoot of Catholicism that's a particularly
no, I mean, I don't know, but it's just criticizing her or her views means you are criticizing all Catholics. And as Catholics, Rick, I thought we need to present a united front.
I thought it was like one of those faith in the family.
Fuck Biden. That guy's not a Catholic. Fuck him.
Sorry, that's what I think I find fascinating. He's like finally a candidate who goes to church regularly.
Yeah, and people are acting like Republicans are acting like he's the Antichrist. It's fucking stupid.
It's because he he has not had sex with enough children.
Right.
He's not powerful enough to be president.
Have you noticed a lot more that people are accusing other people of pedophilia? Like, it seems like the go-to attack line now is, "Oh yeah, well you're a pedophile."
Yeah, that's something I've noticed for a long time, and my theory has always been it's because the baby boomers now have kids, and so it's a sublimation of their desires that they're going like, "Oh well, of course people want to fuck my kid. I would want to fuck my kid. My kid is great."
Which baby boomer is this?
I think the fact that the baby boomers are having kids, you're getting this displaced attraction.
I think you broke Danny on this one. Danny, do you have questions?
Yeah. You think the baby boomers want to fuck their kids, and that's why they're afraid of pedophiles?
Well, I mean, Trump did say he wants to fuck Ivanka.
Sure, but that's a special case.
He's a special boy.
Wow, I had not considered that, Rick.
Yeah, sublimated. The one pedophile I know had a
oh jeez.
well, the one convicted one. He had a bit. He was a comic, and he had a whole bit about his daughter bringing over all her friends for a pool party.
I don't want to. Let's move on. I don't want to hear this. You've made your point. Great.
Okay. I think that's where it comes from. I think.
Okay, sure. Great. Okay. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Like, he had a
really upsetting. Hey, how about this debate? Whoa.
Let's get into interesting topics. Yeah. You wanted to talk about it when it was Catholicism. Okay.
Yes, but
you want the Catholic bash. I see.
Yes, I have anti-Catholic bias. It courses through my veins.
I mean, for the record, if the Jews can take everything the Jews have taken, the Catholics can take what the Catholics are getting. It's not that bad.
Sure.
You feel because of your upbringing that you have a slightly anti-Catholic bias?
No. I mean that the Jews have taken so much shit for like so long, and we're fine.
No, I meant Danny.
Yeah, I do. I feel like if I was not raised in Catholicism, I probably wouldn't care about it as much. I'd probably just be like, "Oh, that sounds weird." Glad that this didn't infect every fiber of my being.
You guys do what?
And completely warp my way of thinking and my
like one of those people who buy a Volkswagen and suddenly see Volkswagens everywhere.
Oh, we got an answer.
Catholic stuff everywhere.
We got an answer in the comments to what group the candidate, the Supreme Court candidate belongs to.
Oh, good.
They're called the People with Praise. The People with Praise.
Yeah. The People with Praise?
Yeah. Andrew Hall commented that. He also says they're a little handmaidey, from
Thanks, Andrew. I had heard that apparently some of what was written in The Handmaid's Tale was inspired by the doctrine.
Thank you for the intro, Andrew. Very helpful.
Yeah, Andrew,
yes, Andrew.
Funny. Haven't seen you in a while, Andrew. Give me a DM. Let me know what's going on.
What does DM stand for?
Direct message.
Dungeon Master.
Got it.
Got it. Congratulations, Rick.
I knew the hip, cool lingo.
And you know what? I feel like you're now well on your way to being able to set up your Ethernet cable correctly. Now that you demonstrated your acumen when it comes to defining.
I may even remember my microphone one day.
Yes, you may. It is funny. Will you tilt your camera a little bit to the left, Rick?
My left or your left?
Other left.
Nice.
So there is a microphone right behind you.
Oh, that one.
But we can't use it.
That one won't work.
I know. It's just funny though that it's so tantalizingly close and yet so far away.
Oh, that's a great shot.
It is a great shot, and it creates the illusion that you care about this podcast.
For all intents and purposes, the sound from Rick is coming from that microphone. It's a really good microphone.
That's an interesting phrase, isn't it? Is it intense in purpose? It's not intense.
No, like
all intended things and
intense.
purposes?
So like ENTS, I think.
Yeah. So it's what you intend. All intenses and.
Did you just get high?
Welcome to the vocabulary and grammar portion of the show.
It's intensive porpoises. You ever heard that one? Hey, we made a lot of hay last week about, unless you wanted to talk more about intents and purposes. I didn't mean to cut that off if you.
Or we can double back to pedophilia.
No, it's just one of those interesting phrases that I don't think about, and then it comes up, and you think, yeah, where did that come from? Why is that a thing?
Probably Rome.
I will say though, it is very funny because Danny's comment. That is a thought I would have while I was high, but you just had that thought while you were sober, while you were dead sober.
You really turned it over as a high person would.
That's just a normal thought you had.
You have found the key to my personality. Yes,
the only sober stoned guy.
Yes.
I guess in
You
that
really
case,
oughta
you really
try
don't
it.
need to smoke weed. You've got it.
I know that we spend maybe too much time trying to convince you to, or I spend too much time trying to convince you to, dip into the God's green herb. But
Well, I mean, it is totally hypocritical because right now I'm doing an antidepressant. I'm doing, I've got like 3 or 4 drugs, but it's my whole thing of, I need permission or something.
So if Bayer prescribed you a marijuana, then you'd be like,
that's why I wonder. I probably wouldn't smoke just because with my chronic asthma as a kid.
you don't need to. There's like a million ways to take it now.
Yeah.
it's the future, baby.
Exactly. If the doctor said, "Oh, I think you should take a gummy bear a week or whatever,"
the candy ones are hilarious. Like the other day, I had a cookout with my roommates, and our upstairs neighbor brought this. Like he made these pastries, and the pastries weren't edible, but the banana peanut butter dip he made.
What a rude thing to say about his pastries.
I'm at.
Go ahead. I know. Sorry. He made
but
what kind of dip?
the peanut butter banana dip he made was the edible, and that had marijuana in it, and it was delicious.
And of course, everybody knew.
Oh yeah, we made sure to tell everybody. We were like, hey, just so you know.
Hey, sober people, hope you don't like bananas or peanut butter. Because we got something tempting for you.
But it's like
at the club, somebody has brought in once Andy O'Fleisch brought in cookies.
Oh
yeah.
Shout out to Andy, by the way.
Love those cookies.
And he was like, "Hey, you want a cookie?" And I'm about to go on. I was introduced to someone. And I'm like, "Yeah, a cookie sounds really good.
My blood sugar is a little low. I could use a little boost
from
show.
To have a cookie."
I'm surprised Andy doesn't know that you really don't like marijuana.
I went out and introduced someone. And then by the time I came back, there were already people going, "Wow, that's strong. Those cookies are strong." I'm like, wait, what?
That is dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate, yeah.
I said, yeah, maybe a little milk. Does anyone have some milk?
I got some friends in New York who we go camping together every so often. And they'll bring these like weed gummies. And it's like a gummy worm, let's say. And they're like, okay, 1/8 of this is like 150 milligrams.
You gotta like cut the head off and
you gotta take the teeniest, tiniest little bite, or you'll die.
Weed gummy bears, sour. Like I had a Sour Patch Kid that was a weed Sour Patch Kid. Fucking lollipops, cookies, cupcakes.
There's something a little perverse about it.
It's Willy Wonka. Willy Wonka is now a dispensary.
Do we want to tell the Hong Kong gummy bear story?
Yeah, tell it. This was like 2 weeks.
It is a good relevant story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and Eli, you know.
I was there. I wasn't there, but okay. So what I remember is there was a manager there. Was his name also Chris?
Yeah, I think it was. No, this wasn't Chris.
Nope.
No, it wasn't Big Chris. It was the skinny bald guy. But I thought his name. Anyway, he was the manager there at the Hong Kong. Oh, Paul, that's right.
And there's another Paul.
There's owner Paul, and then there's manager Paul. Manager Paul. At one point, he like brought some weed gummies. I think they were really strong. I didn't have any, but one of the waitresses, he offered one to her, and she took it. And I guess she didn't know how strong it was, and she had like a huge freak out where she like ran downstairs, ran into her car on Mass Ave, like right outside the Hong Kong, and locked herself in it, and like had a huge freak out. And unfortunately, because of that, Paul got arrested and fired and charged with distribution.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it was already legal.
I didn't know he got arrested.
And that's why the restaurant got shut down for that 2 weeks.
Yeah, there was a period where the thing had passed.
Yeah.
To legalize it, but it hadn't taken effect yet. So if this had happened 2 weeks later, or a month later, it wouldn't have been a problem.
Well, I hope he got like out. I hope it like got thrown out at some point.
I don't know. Some of the interesting, some of the cool details are, Paul was did a lot of pot, and the waitress, really sweet girl, was doing a double shift and just exhausted, and sort of. And they're talking between her shifts, and she's like, "Oh," he's like, "Well, you should try, try some." She's like, "Oh, I've never tried marijuana before." I don't know.
She knew. So she knew it was marijuana.
Well,
she knew it was marijuana. Yeah.
She says, "Yeah, I've never tried it before." He says, "Well, hey, these gummy bears are, really good. I've been, doing the gym." So she says, "Okay," and she takes a couple gummy bears.
Couple. Oh boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-oh.
So the police find her in her car with her feet trying to kick out the windshield.
Oh my god!
Because she's over.
That sounds like a nightmare.
And one of the cops, because all the cops know everybody,
Uh-huh.
they're familiar with the Hong Kong and stuff.
Especially the
So
Hong
one of the
Kong.
Sure.
cops-
Especially
one
the
of
Hong
comes
Kong.
up to Paul, the manager, and he says, "All right, Paul, I just want to make sure you understand. I am asking you in my official capacity as a Cambridge police officer. Do you have any idea where she may have gotten any illegal substances?
Uh-huh.
Anything you say, I'm asking you. I'm not right now. I'm taking down everything you say. Do you have any idea
Uh-huh.
where she got this illegal substance?" And he says, "Yeah, I gave her a few gummy bears."
Yeah, I would have been that guy. I would not have gotten that signal at all.
Well, no, I'm sure he was a few gummy bears deep himself.
I've done that a bunch of times where like an authority figure is like, I don't think you understand what I'm saying. Do you have blank? And I'm like, oh, no.
The cop was like,
white
"Oh,
privilege.
I tried everything I could, and you said you gave it, so now it's distribution." And
So was he hauled off? And were you there, Rick?
no, I had been there earlier in the night.
Okay. So was this a show night that this happened during?
I believe so. I think so.
And she freaked
Yeah,
out
it
during
was
the
like
show or
between-
after the
between
show?
between the comedy and the
Oh, the dance. Okay.
the dance club. Yeah.
Okay. And so then it got shut down. So this would have been January 2017.
Yeah. So so basically the liquor
Maybe
board
February.
and everything said, "Oh, there's this violation," and so the thing was a suspension of their license for 2 weeks. So you weren't allowed to remodel or do anything with it. It had to be just closed.
Wow. And then right after it reopened, that's when I started.
Yeah.
I think maybe the first night
Coincidence?
back. Yeah. I got myself a 2-week vacation before my job even started. Hey, what a fun story. You got any other Hong Kong stories to share now that we're so far removed from being associated with them?
Yes, but I'm saving them for my one-man show. What's on the third floor?
Is that in the cards?
No, I have. I've.
So then say them now.
I really should. Yeah, I started a Word document of all these little stories, and the battery in that computer blew up. So
Oh, right.
that's why I have to at some point go get them.
Just take the computer to Micro Center. They can take the hard drive out and get the data off of it.
Yeah.
Well, we
Just waiting until I have a couple extra $100 to.
Actually, hold on a minute. I actually have a cable.
Yeah, because Danny, you saw it, right? It was the
yes, it was
the
like
battery blew up.
Yeah, it sort of burst on the bottom, if you will.
And they say that's not a big deal, or it is a big deal.
I think it's probably not a big deal, but I couldn't fix it.
Yeah, I have a cable right here that's sat to USB Type A. If you can just, I can take the hard drive out of your computer and you can get the data off of it.
All right,
So
Rick.
put it into a thing.
Onto your new computer.
And then I put that thing into my new computer, or I go right from the old computer to the new computer.
This plugs directly into your hard drive. That's inside your computer.
So, well, it goes from what to what again, Eli? What were those technical terms you used?
SAT, SAT.
Okay, so Rick, you did really good last time with DM. You crushed that one. Now it's time for level 2. If you were on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, this would be the $200 question. Well, this would be like the $5,000 question. SAT. What's it stand for?
I'm thinking that sink would be the S.
Okay. Sink and tumble.
Sink ass titties.
Sink ass titties. That's right.
Obviously.
Eli, you spoiled it for him.
The hot new rap song.
Yes.
No,
You
what's it stand for?
I don't know. That's all I'm asking you. What's it stand for, Eli? Do you know?
I don't know.
Oh, wow.
But do you know what USB stands for?
Universal son of a bitch.
Yeah, there you go. Plug that universal son of a bitch in there.
Go ahead, Rick. I'm sorry. What were you gonna say?
No, yeah, I was exactly like you. I was like, I know this. Universal. Wait a minute. I don't know this.
It's Universal Serial Bus.
Now, are we sure this isn't SATA? SATA?
It's probably that one.
Because when I type in SAT hard drive, it says, "Are you sure you don't mean SATA?"
No, that's
Rick,
probably it.
redeem yourself.
Oh yeah, it actually says SATA right there in big letters.
It stands for Saturday Night Live. Hey, how about this Jim Carrey as Joe Biden? What do we think?
I'm not wild about the whole stunt casting thing.
I have to agree.
I'm not a regular watcher, so.
Yeah, I am. For some reason, I watch every episode.
Yeah,
with-
so I'm not as invested. What do you think?
I agree with you. I think the stunt casting is really played out at this point.
Yeah.
And a lot of their stars went on to become stars because of the way they portrayed these political figures. And I feel like they're kind of robbing a lot of their
Yeah,
current
you'd think that like they
cast
would have
members
the
of
normal
an
cast
opportunity.
play the
Yeah.
play the Bidens and the Hillarys and the Trumps and the
Yeah.
Although I do get a little bit of a rush when you don't expect it, and all of a sudden it's, that Kavanaugh. Oh, that's
Right.
Matt Damon. Oh,
Right.
wow.
Yes. Those are fun when they don't announce them. When Matt Damon, and I guess he was hosting the episode, so we probably could have seen it coming.
Yeah.
He was great. Brad Pitt as Dr. Fauci, I thought was funny, even though
The first
apparently
couple
people
times
on the
with
internet.
Baldwin.
I just
was
don't
like,
know-
Oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever.
I don't know how Jim's going to be able to do all those pro-vaccination lines for Biden.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard him. On
I can't
Marin.
say
He
this
stayed
one,
away
Lauren.
From it completely.
I can't
From
say
vaccines.
Yeah, I did not go there at all.
Now, is he himself? So I know he was married to Jenny McCarthy, who is an anti-vaxxer.
Mhm.
He is like, he's still going. He's still an anti-vaxxer because they're not married anymore.
It could be one of those. I say whatever I got to say to get in there.
Huh.
Yeah,
Sure. Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things that's just sort of taken as a given so much in circles. But yeah, I've not gone back and checked.
You know what Jim Carrey's got though in common with Biden? I think he's got the frame and the face shape.
Square, rectangular.
He's got kind of sunken eyes. I feel like that
Do
Biden
you know
has
what
as
the
well.
ethnic backgrounds of the two?
I don't know. White.
Isn't that something? Yeah, just white guy.
So yeah, that's that. So we made a lot of hay about this last week, but our little podcast was written up in the newspaper, Cambridge Day. In the original article, I was listed as the booker, and Eli was not.
I was almost free. The curse was almost lifted.
And then without me even saying anything to the guy.
Well, as we know, he's an avid listener of the podcast, hence the
They
original
corrected it.
article.
Yeah.
I heard you browbeat the reporter.
I heard you went to his house and you were like, hey.
At a one-man protest.
Threw eggs.
Yes, but they were chocolate eggs.
No, we have to say Mark is a great guy.
Sounds like it. He's got great taste in podcasts.
Been a big help for years.
So I just want to say, since he's clearly listening, if you guys over at Cambridge Day are looking for an in-house political cartoonist, I'm your guy.
Really?
Do you have
You're a
any-
cartoonist.
Yes,
I did not know this side of you.
I'm great at cartooning.
Do you have
Oh,
any
have you ever
sample
been published?
drawings? You got any samples?
Yeah, in this little paper called the New York Post online
Did
edition.
they ask for it, or did you just?
No, so what I did, I went to my local bodega. This is when I lived in New York. I went to my local bodega with a bunch of printouts of my political cartoons, and I just like taped them to the front page of a bunch of issues of the New York Post and 2 issues of the New York Daily News. So I guess you could say I've been in both.
The original cut and paste.
Yep.
You got any
So-
samples?
I can't describe. I can't. It's a podcast, so I can't share my work with you, but I can describe it if you'd like.
Yeah,
You want me to describe my latest political cartoon?
I would like
Is
that.
there a way we can set up like a separate page that we can say, hey, people, if you want to hear what we were talking about on the podcast, go to this site?
We could, but
I mean,
I
this
don't want to.
the video
used to do that.
The video for this
Literally.
podcast stays on our Facebook page unless we delete it.
So the podcast, I mean, the political cartoon is okay. It's 2 stick figures because I'm really bad at drawing.
So the basis of cartooning is the part you're bad at.
Well, it's the jokes, Rick. Come on.
Okay.
So it's the crackling dialogue and the snappy captions. So it's 2, and Mark, if you're listening, let me know if this is something you guys are in the market for. It's 2 stick figures. One is Biden, and you know that because it says Biden right above him with an arrow pointing down. And one is Trump because I drew his hair, but it's mostly just scribbles. And then I also wrote Trump above him. And above them, there's a sign above them that says the debate. So this is how you know.
Wow, this is recent.
They're on the debate. Well, this is maybe prescient because it hasn't even happened yet.
I thought you were saying this was the one you had published.
No, this is my
Oh,
latest
okay.
one. This is my new. This is the one
We've
I
already
just
established
finished.
that being published means him taping it on
Yeah.
papers that are already published.
I'll tell you about the one I published after I finish this one. So they're at the debate, and then the caption says, "No, why don't you go first?" So that's that one. Mark, if you want it, let me tell you about the one I got published.
Now,
Okay.
now, is it clear which one is saying it, or are they both saying it at the same time?
No, it's not
was
clear.
this-
It's up for interpretation. It's sort of a bipartisan political cartoon.
Yeah, you owe me a Coke, and we want to drug test you.
So the one I got published was just I printed out a picture of Anthony Weiner's cock and I stapled it to New York Post. And then the caption said, "Who ordered the sausage?"
I'm hoping it was
Actually,
the centerfold.
there was a variant too. I had a I had a separate one, and it said, "Hey, your sock delivery's here." That one wasn't as good.
You posted it on the the Tasty Burger menu under the item menu, the Big Tasty.
Yep, I sure did.
I love that.
Here's the Big
You're
Tasty.
so progressive. You've got all these thoughts. You're on CNN every day and everything. And when it comes to you have a political view, it's like, let's go with Anthony Weiner's cock. Let's just.
Well,
go
but
right
this
there.
was Rick. You have to understand. At the time, this was in 2016, when his cock was big news.
Yes, it was.
You might recall. I certainly do.
Big news.
There was
Big
it was a quite exciting day at the podcast studio I worked in.
Yeah, I
when
know.
Anthony Weiner's cock leaked.
It was
online.
everything above the fold.
It's just-
Uh-huh.
Isn't it kind of funny how
So,
Anthony
Mark, please,
Weiner's
give me a
like
job.
his cock kind of like screwed him over, but Chris Evans's cock made him better.
Yes, but Chris Evans wasn't cheating on anyone with his cock, was he?
I don't know. If you see the original post, there's actually a picture next to the picture of his cock. That's a picture of his face that says "Guard that pussy."
Yeah. The idea is that
Huh.
his got out accidentally. He accidentally tweeted it to someone.
Whoopsie
With
penis.
Anthony Weiner, it was evidence of, he's been sending this to someone who didn't want it. A real good one of how to handle it was Arnold Schwarzenegger. Some nude photos from when he was a male model, a bodybuilder, came out nude.
Mr.
And there
Olympia.
was initially a bunch of controversy, like, there's nude photos of Arnold out there. And Arnold went on Oprah and said, I don't think I have anything to be embarrassed about. It looks pretty good. And then everyone was like, okay, yeah, fine.
He is Mr. Olympia. He is a fucking champion.
Was this when he looked all gross and freaky when he was like a bodybuilder?
Well, this was when he was the #1 movie star. This is before Governor, after bodybuilder.
Okay. He still looks pretty good. Guy's like what, 80, 85?
He could rip me in half. Easy.
Pound me all the way till Thursday.
He'd toss me through a window.
He tossed me right through the wall. Face down.
But now that it's been a while, do you even remember why? What his downfall was? Why?
Anthony Weiner
wasn't
or
it-
Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Schwarzenegger was
Why
that he
did
got
not
his
just-
housekeeper pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And he
Well, and
Put a
Susan
baby
Kennedy,
in her.
his wife.
while he was married, and apparently a lot of grab ass came about of like I was on a show with him and he grabbed my ass.
Oh, really? I haven't heard that.
He ripped my ass off with his power.
Hmm. You know, he presents himself as this, classic American good boy. But if you really look closely, he's like not even American.
No.
Wow, really?
Listen to him talk.
I have to look into
He
that.
talks really funny.
I don't know if you've ever heard, but he has a little bit of an accent.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm not talking about a Philadelphia accent.
Actually, that's pretty close to his accent.
Or maybe a Southern sweet tea accent.
That was the same accent.
Or a Jersey accent. He sounds like this. Hey, I'm Austrian here.
Whoa, for a second there, I thought Michael Winslow was in the house.
Too many Urkels on your team. That's why you're Winslow. That was a Kanye West line before he went fucking crazy. So we are half
Was
an hour
he
into the
ever not
podcast.
crazy?
You know, now that I
Maybe.
look back on it, I don't think he was ever not crazy.
Okay.
I think I just excused a lot
But I
of bad
mean,
behavior.
for the record, that crazy man sure makes some good music.
He made some great music. My goodness, he made some great music. You'd
Yeah.
love it, Rick.
Have you heard
You know
about the contract war he's going through right now?
I heard about this. I didn't read too much into it.
Basically, he's fighting to break like all of his contracts. He doesn't want to be under contract anymore. And he's like trying to help, I think, Taylor Swift like break her contract too, so she can get her masters back.
Huh. Wow, that's it's all come around. Rick, how'd it go for us when we tried to break our contract? How'd that work out?
Yeah, I contract law. It's so strange.
Take
because
notes,
there were
Kanye.
like 3 different lawyers and stuff. It's like,
Yeah, that was awful.
I'm a this lawyer. You have to talk to that lawyer. It really is a whole different language.
But he's helping Taylor Swift
Learned
now?
a lot of lessons.
Yeah.
Yes, so many lessons.
So-
2019 was a year of lessons.
Yes.
And 2020 is a year of not being able to apply those lessons.
Honestly, at this point, I don't think there's much of a lesson to learn.
No. The lesson
I
is
listened to,
chaos reigns.
Burr and Rogan were talking on one of the podcasts, and there was a real good sort of like, yeah, this is what happens when a manager comes in and says, "Oh, your show's good. We want to give you that and that," about how, there's so many little hidden hooks in there, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, all these guys, they sleep well at night. They think they're trying to help everybody, and they're completely fucking over the artist.
Well, some of them just want the money. Some of them are sleeping. Oh boy, my money is so good.
Yeah, but I think a lot of them are just, hey, we're helping the artist. This is just the way it's done.
You listening to Rogan now, huh?
I listened to a whole bunch of Rogan. I listened to a whole bunch of
To one
I
end.
listened to Gondelman.
Both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, like 5 or 6 different podcasts. Getting ready for my big appearance on Mike Kaplan.
So yes. So you record Mike's show tomorrow.
You have trained well.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel? Have you taken in? Have you absorbed the knowledge we dropped on you last episode?
Yes, I think I've figured out a little bit more of my place in the comedy universe.
Okay, let's hear it.
I think I am more like I own the cool little record store, and I don't really play an instrument.
But you do.
But you know what I mean?
Pants flute.
It's sort of like the whole idea of the comedy studio is similar to the small little record store, where half of the excitement is I don't know what I'm going to find this time. I'm going to go check this stuff out, and I'm the guy sitting there going like, "Oh, you've never heard of Gondelman? Oh, let me show you some Gondelman." And oh, this is a new artist.
You're a
this
connoisseur.
He's got some really good jokes here. Take a look at him.
I think you're somewhat selling yourself short, though.
I think so too.
Well, but I mean, that's I think my role. I'm not getting on any of these podcasts or anything as a comedian. I'm getting on as the owner of the comedy studio.
Well,
Yeah, but isn't the comedy studio your pride and joy?
Yeah, I mean, that's what
Yeah.
I said. It's my store, and I'm sitting there, in the store. Yeah, I'm noodling. If you come in,
Well, I
you
mean,
can try a few
the
things.
big
playing
question-
Stairway.
The big question is are you proud of your store?
Oh, the store. Yeah.
If
How
you're
about
proud
ever
of,
since it went to online?
if you're proud of your
Yeah.
work, then that should be all that
You
matters.
know, I think that's been one of the tough things for me to convince other people is that I'm really really psyched about the online shows. As
should
we were
be.
talking about, like, oh, can we call in favors and get really big names? I'm like, yeah, I guess we could, but what I really like about the club is, hey, here's someone you've never seen of, you've never heard of before. We're giving them some stage time. You're going to discover them out of we do a show of 10 comics. There might be one you go, oh, wow, that was really great. But it's going through all those records in the store. That's the excitement of the hunt is as much of the product as,
Sure.
what you walk out with.
I love discovering new talent here at the club.
Then you're gonna.
and you've done such a
I could
great
take
job
it or
of
leave
it.
it.
No,
It's-
Danny's done such a good job
Yes.
as the booker.
Yeah, whoever that booker is.
You're getting it wrong. But I mean, I've told you a million times that you should take more pride in running this place. You're the owner. You're the ship driver. You're the captain of your ship.
I'm not. I thought you were talking about as a comedian.
No, this is your business. You should be proud to run your business.
Yeah, I'm very proud and happy of the business.
That's good.
You know what you should do? You should be on SNL.
As Joe Biden.
Yeah, as the guy who can't do any characters or voices.
I bet Lorne Michaels would put you on. Do you think Lorne Michaels has heard of you?
Boy, no.
I bet he has.
I am such
I
a
bet Colin
fan,
Jost has been like, hey, I played this cool club.
and that's what happens as I've been listening to these podcasts, and these people. Oh, I know Rogan, I know Burr, and all that sort of stuff. For me, there's a real I hear of a Mulaney or someone. I'm like, wow, I wish I were that good. Part of
Sure.
For me, a big chunk of running the comedy club is I wish I was as good as these people. When Kaplan or listening to a podcast of Chris Walsh and Gary Peterson, and they're talking about hell gigs, and they have guests on talk about hell gigs, and I'm like, wow, I wish I was, up at that level where I had where I was playing cruises, where I was, doing these TV auditions and stuff.
Playing the ICP garden. The Insane Clown Posse gathering.
Oh, at the comedy tent?
Yeah.
I haven't done much of that. I did the only bachelor party I've ever played, because that's always, oh, this is the worst ever bachelor party stuff. I just moved to Boston. I get to the place. It's the back room of a North End restaurant.
Okay.
So I get there,
Is
and
it,
everyone's like 50 in suits and clearly connected to the mob.
Huh.
They're all sitting there with their little salads and stuff, and they've got cigars and everything. And it's the back room. And
do you remember the restaurant?
I
Was it
don't, but
McDonald's?
it was one of the better known ones.
Is it like still around?
Probably. I don't
Ooh.
know. Because that was back when the North End was on, you had to go underneath the highway.
Yeah,
So
when
it was
there's
almost
still
a
gun
whole
violence.
different, universe. So you get in there and everything is dark and wood paneled and brick, and the stage was just in the middle of the room, a microphone and stand, and the cord went through the room out to the bar and then plugged into the PA system behind the bar. But I'm 20 and I just moved to Boston and I'm gonna be a great comedian, and I'm like, all right, playing a bachelor party, this is great. And the guy comes up to me, the contact, he says, all right, over there, that's the kid. He's getting married. He likes getting blowjobs. He doesn't like beer, but he does like shots. Go rip them apart. Really have fun with it. Go and have fun with it. I'm like, oh, well,
Just don't
Rick,
blow
I
him.
love your southern accent, by the way.
Just don't blow him. He'll love that.
yeah. I'm really, well, that's not really the type of act I do. I just have more things about how school supplies are really fairly universal.
So the inventor of the blowjob died.
And it's something we can all relate to. And so,
Yeah.
but I'm still, in my mind, I'm still like, okay, well, this is going to go well. I'm a good comedian. And another guy comes over to me. He goes like, look, this is a hell gig. And immediately I go like, wait a minute, he knows the lingo. What is it? He's like, I'm a really big comedy fan. I know what's going on. Just go up there, do like 5 minutes while they're eating their salad. Get out. Here's your money. Make sure you're out before the stripper. Just do your 5 and get out. I'm like, oh, okay, sure. And now I look back and realize, oh, the guy fucking saved my life. I hear all these bachelor party hell gigs. That was the only one. After that, I knew not to take them.
That sounds like the scene from Lord of the Rings where Gandalf is like, run, run. You're like, okay, cool, sure, whatever.
Fly, you fools.
Never
You're like, cool.
Never did cruise ships. Never, it's just all my hell gigs are like, oh, that actually went pretty well.
Yeah, but you've got plenty of hell
So you
stories
have
too
well
at the
gigs.
club.
Yeah.
So you're listening now to a bunch of different podcasts to broaden your horizons.
Mm-hmm.
And you decided to start with Joseph Rogan. Spotify's new favorite son.
The millionaire.
The millionaire.
He was already a millionaire before that.
I would probably think so, but now he's like really a millionaire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was 100 million, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure, I'm sure Brian Joey Coco Diaz got, a couple bucks.
I don't think
The
so.
thing that piqued my interest was I saw Joe Rogan, Bill Burr, Boston Stories. So I'm like, oh, I know a lot of the Boston Stories.
Sure.
I'll listen to that. So
They talk about like the Revolutionary War and Crispus Attucks, Johnny Tremaine.
That was my gateway drug.
You hear a lot of some of his episodes are got pulled from Spotify.
Oh, did they actually get pulled?
Oh, did?
I think I read that like Alex Jones episodes and
Yeah, well, a bunch of the
Jordan
employees were
Peterson.
complaining about it, I guess.
I wonder,
man.
could that be part of the whole hate speech? Let's police the internet more.
I mean,
Kind of
it's
thing?
in
I
there.
think it's probably
part of that,
Spotify's like,
yeah.
if we're paying $100 million for this, we don't want these episodes that might cause people to drop our service.
I mean,
Well,
But I
and
don't
if
know.
somebody, and somebody goes on a shooting spree, you don't want them saying, oh, I listened to Alex Jones
On Spotify.
on Spotify.
Yeah.
So Spotify is responsible because they distributed this.
Alex Jones,
Possibly.
I can understand because all of his content has been pulled from everywhere. So
Yeah.
I could at least see that one. But like, I did see all the stories of like Spotify employees like threatening to strike if they don't censor Joe Rogan's podcasts.
It's a wild world, baby.
I wonder what sort of speech Rogan has.
I'm
in that.
surprised he went for this deal, to be honest.
I don't know. I don't know what I couldn't tell you what he's thinking. If it were me, I'd be like, well, if at some point I'm gonna have to leave my family, everything. I'd want him
Sure,
to leave
that's
it.
true.
I'd want to leave him as much money as possible. So this huge deal, that's
Yeah, now he
money for
says
your kids right there.
He says that they want absolutely nothing. It's just a total distribution deal. But he did say at one point someone came in and said, "So who are you thinking of for your first guest?"
Huh.
And he said at that point he just went like, "Oh shit, is this the beginning of the interference of
Yeah, I mean,
like,
it's
hey,
it's
can you get a bigger name for the first one?"
yeah, it's not just I mean,
Yeah.
but it's exclusive to the platform, right? Like you
Oh,
can
yeah,
only
yeah.
listen to it on Spotify.
Yeah. And there's no way they're not gonna at least try and
Yeah,
like tell him who to have on. But I feel like
absolutely.
I don't think Joe's gonna like go for that. I think he's just gonna do his own thing.
Yeah,
Slam some creatine shakes, get that confidence built up.
Yeah,
Nobody
it's
pushes
funny,
me around.
You mentioned that and the whole, third eye, the mystic, and the ayahuasca and all that sort of stuff. That's not the Joe Rogan I know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always difficult for me to put in my mindset. He is like as straight edge and focused and disciplined as a human being can be.
Yeah.
If I would be more likely to think that he went total religious crazy than he went totally psychedelic, isolation tank spiritual.
Well, I don't think he's like religious crazy at all, or like I don't think he's even like spiritual crazy. I think he's just like focused on what he wants to do, so he like has rituals that he does that just make him.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. I guess I'm saying I wouldn't have seen him really exploring that side of himself.
I would love to try one of those float tanks.
Oh yeah, he makes them sound really cool.
They have them around, don't they?
Probably, but they cost a lot of money, I would think, to go in there. Yeah,
that's part of
why
they
did a few years ago. Maybe they've gone down since, but it sounds fucking cool. For anyone who doesn't know, it's a sensory deprivation tank where you go in, you're sealed in a little tank, and you're like floating in very very soluble water. Is that the word, soluble? It's very salty water.
Yeah.
And apparently it's supposed to be a really breaks you out of your own brain.
Yeah, I would think if you're eliminating all sense. Have either of you done the full MRI thing?
Yes, I have.
Have you? So is that similar?
Maybe it was when I was a teen. So I remember it mostly being loud in there. Like they didn't take it, it was very loud. So maybe that interfered with the sensory deprivation.
Yeah, you're supposed to.
It was just people banging on the MRI saying, "Get out! It's time for you to come out now."
It's just the doctor right next to you, just making the woo sound with his mouth.
No, I'm safe in here. I wonder about that because I don't think I have claustrophobia, but I wouldn't want to do that and find out.
Yeah.
Did you have any sense of that?
No.
I'm trapped in here?
No, I don't think so. I don't think I have claustrophobia though. I mean, I lived in New York. Am I right?
Hey,
my apartment's my apartment's a sensory deprivation tank. Am I right?
I pay $3,000 a month for my
Yeah.
50%.
Yeah. It's me, Andrew Dice Clay.
I'd give it a try. I'd try one of those tanks out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You ever heard that Dice Clay album, "The Day After Died"? I
really want to. I know the premise.
What's stopping you?
And me. The premise sounds hilarious, though. It's supposed to be the worst comedy album ever made, but on purpose because it's him purposefully bombing at an almost empty Dangerfields.
Yep.
For an hour.
I thought it was the store.
No, it's Dangerfields.
Yeah, and I remember I heard an interview with someone saying that if you're really into comedy, it's great.
Yeah.
Because the whole idea of the thing was, Dice was like his funniest when the audience just wasn't getting it and it was late at night and it was just a shitty situation and he just fights his way out of it. And that if you look at it from that point of view, it's really great. But if you're listening to it is this a funny comedy album? It's not. Yeah,
I don't know if I would describe it as fighting his way out of it. I don't think he ever broke out of the audience hating him. But it's been a while since I listened. Maybe he turns it around.
Yeah.
But as I recall, it definitely fits the bill of a very bad stand-up comedy album.
Yeah, I'd watch it through the lens of a comedy fan. That's kind of how Joe Rogan made it sound, and that's what makes me want to watch it. Or listen to it. Listen to it.
Seth Rogen? Where's his podcast?
Seth Rogen?
You guys see that pickle movie?
I haven't yet. I really want to.
It's good.
That's on the list.
It's a sweet, sweet little movie.
Yeah, trailer looks good.
What else is in the news?
In the news?
Mm-hmm. You guys gonna watch the debate tonight?
No.
No. It's the political showdown of a century, Eli.
What do you mean? I'm hosting Ferris and Friends tonight at 8 p.m.
Darn.
on the Comedy Studio Facebook page, on our Twitch page, and our YouTube page, and on our website.
And not darn good. We should watch that, listeners. But is it 8 to 9 or 8 to 10?
8 to 9. It's an hour.
Okay.
What time's the debate?
I prefer that. Who you got tonight?
Yes. Let's talk about that instead.
Don't ask me that.
Well, we've got Kathy Ferris and Ellen Sugarman, certainly.
They don't tell me who's on the show.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they do. I can open up the messenger right now. But I don't know.
You watch the show pretty much as the assistant to the booker. You basically watch the show with
the record has been corrected.
One ear towards, hey, who do I like to move on to the other shows?
Yeah, I would say the theoretical, hypothetical booker that may or may not be doing the tech for this show tonight. Watch the show, and if there's someone on there that he or she hasn't booked before, he or she may reach out to that person and book them for the Comedy Studio's other shows.
The Tomb of the Unknown Booker.
Well, that's really the nice way. If you're booking anything, that's the nice way to do it. You're just watching some shows and stuff, and you go like, "Oh, that fits."
Yeah.
Because it's just hell when somebody says, "Okay, here's my audition," and you gotta go, "Well, okay, I guess we'll book you. We won't book you." You know, being put on the spot is just awkward for everybody.
What are your tips for comedians who want to play studio shows, Rick and Eli, as the bookers?
Oh, I'd say come up to me in person while I'm doing something else. And
pull my mask down and talk straight into my mouth.
And then talk to me as if you're my best friend that even though we've never met before, and then ask me for a spot on the show. That is the best way to get a spot on a Comedy Studio show and then liked by a booker. Yeah, that's the best thing to do for sure.
So people are cozying up to you and trying to play nice to get spots?
I think that happens to every booker.
Never happened to me in my brief reign as booker.
Well,
studio.
Get ready for a whole new world, booker.
That's one of my weak spots because I never realize it. Just like, oh sure. Wow, they like me.
I realize it
like me. I'm wonderful.
I realize it pretty quick. It's
your bullshit detector is finely tuned.
It hurts.
It hurts. Oh, it hurts like
it's pain. It doesn't feel good when somebody's talking to you and you know they just want something from you and not to talk to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
You just want to...
Rick.
Just want to...
You know what I hate? When you're talking to comics and you think you're talking to comics and it turns out you are playing the role of hypothetical audience member for them running their bit at you.
Oh,
that
yeah.
I always hate. And I don't catch on to it quick enough every time. And I feel dirty.
Your partner is taking a comedy class.
She is.
Very, very good.
Oh, and don't tell her that. She'll get a big head.
I think one of the pieces of advice Kathy gave was to do exactly that. Like in conversation, try and slip in some stuff and just to sort of test it.
Well, I'm not the teacher.
Any of that?
So no, I've experienced like at the club thinking I'm having a conversation with a comic and then realizing, oh, if I just stop talking, it would not change the course of a conversation at all.
Did you ever?
It's all about like what is on the TV at the moment, and it's like clear of it. They're just riffing next to me.
Wait, so did any of these conversations start with, have you ever noticed how...
No, now that I think about it, that is a red flag. But as they say on my favorite cartoon, BoJack Horseman, when you look at the world through rose-colored glasses, something about red flags not looking like red flags. It's been a while since I heard the quote, but it struck me as very profound at the time.
Good quote.
No David Foster Wallace, but still.
No, it's no David Foster Wallace. Rose's dad left his copy of Infinite Jest here at the apartment that we found when we got back, and I was like, I'm going to read Infinite Jest. Like 300, 400 pages in, and then I was like, this is too depressing. But I'm just going to take a short break from it, and it's been like a month, and I haven't read it.
I'll put it in the bathroom.
Yeah, put it in the bathroom.
I used to read it in the bath, but now I've reverted back to listening to podcasts in the bath. It's a hard book to read in the bath. You got to flip back and forth a lot, and it's like a big, heavy big heavy tome. But it's good.
Well, that leads us into a comedy
It
recommendation.
sure does, right on the
seen...
55-minute dot, Rick. Your comedy podcast skills are getting more and more fine-tuned every second I speak to you.
It's I've got a bigger recommendation, but yeah, I just picked up Judy Gold's book. When They Come for the Comedians, We're All in Trouble, I believe it is. Well, that's the subtitle. The title is, yes, I can say that. When they come for the comedians, we are all in trouble.
I love how you brought your book, but not the microphone.
Well, because I know I'm going to be here all afternoon, and I need to show this.
Judy
and
Gold.
John Biner has a book out that I also picked up, 5 Minutes, Mr. Biner, which is, he was one of the big-time comics. A lot of comics have that credit. It was either A&E comedy at the Improv thing or John Biner's Comedy on the Road. And he's got a book of show business anecdotes.
So have you read either of his books?
No, they just came yesterday.
So you're not. So how can you recommend them in good faith to me?
I am not. That's why I said that's not my recommendation.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Look at the notes, Danny. Look at the fucking notes.
My sincerest apologies. Yeah, real quick. Let's do a notes check. Is there anything we haven't touched upon that you had jotted down? And again, I apologize for my malfeasance there.
No, except well, that's going to be my recommendation. So. Nope, I'm all set.
All right, dive right in, baby. Hit me up with your comedy recommendation.
Well, the comedy recommendation is circle your calendar. Montreal Comedy Festival, just for laughs, is October 9th and 10th. You can go on their site. It's hahaha.com. No, really. And it's all free this year. So it's going to be, there's 28 shows and panel discussions and Andy Kindler's State of the Industry address, all those things that people come back from Montreal and say, oh, there was this cool panel with, Judd Apatow talking to Kevin Hart, or the 10 Comedians to Watch by Variety. It's all free this year. And you can just, you go online to hahaha.com, make a note of which things you want to see. And it's, you can be you can be as in the industry as anybody else from the level.
Thanks, coronavirus.
Yeah.
Level that playing field.
Yeah.
Is this now? Have comics been chosen for new faces this year?
I don't believe that's the 10 Comedians to Watch for Variety.
Okay.
And New Faces has, I see, the creators category. So I don't think it's New Faces stand up.
Okay.
But creators meaning like people who do short films and that sort of thing. So
easier to broadcast over the internet.
Yeah,
that's good, because what a bummer that would be if you get JFL and then you gotta do a Zoom set. And not to knock Zoom sets, they're great. Please come to our shows and buy tickets to them.
Well, that's the thing. A Zoom show it's not live and it's not television. It's its own thing.
Right.
And if you're
it's a podcast.
Approach it that way, it's a really great medium.
Our shows are a lot of fun.
Are you when you teach this class, are you teaching it with a focus on Zoom sets, or are you just teaching the basics and hoping that they can apply it to now the two ways that you can do stand up?
Yeah, we're including it. So, but that mostly comes about with equipment. I mean, the structure of a joke is still the same. Hitting the punchline is still the same. Most of it's the same. But in terms of having a background and equipment and all that sort of stuff, you have to touch on that because that's where the industry is right now.
Well, that sounds really valuable, and I hear that you're opening up a second round of your stand-up level 1 class.
Yeah, we're gonna do another because that was so popular, and we're really, really enjoying it. So we started something called the Comedy Workroom, with the idea that if you finished level 1, there is a place to go and you can work on yourself and get feedback and all the things that you like about the class.
Okay, so I'm going to work there. And so you're paying me, I assume, if I'm taking the workroom because I'm working.
Yes. No,
it would be absurd for me to pay you, right?
We're providing the room. You bring your tools. It's like a WeWork.
Okay. I'm more of a Nintendo 64 guy. That one's for Eli.
Don't lie to me.
I liked Nintendo 64 as much as the next child. They had them at our local McDonald's.
They did have those. I remember that.
Yeah. So that's your comedy recommendation, Rick. Is JFL.
And the business is Sally O'Brien's.
A staple.
Now that stuff is starting to open up. Sally O'Brien's is opening Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. from 3 o'clock until about 10 o'clock. And it's not so much, oh, go to this bar and everything. It's that they're getting all of their bartenders trying to get shifts for everybody.
Yeah.
So a lot of places, a lot of bars, taverns are doing that, where go in there and tip heavily because they're just trying to cover what they normally would have made. So the places really aren't, I know Sally O'Brien's isn't really open for, let's make a lot of money, let's charge a cover, let's do the music. It's more like, let's try and get some shifts for these people that, are our employees and are relying on us.
Well, that's what a great recommendation. They've certainly been good to us over at Sally O'Brien's. I personally do not condone indoor eating or drinking, but it's not my choice to make. Or no, it's not my call. It's my choice to make, but it's not my call to make for them.
Do you feel it's okay socially distanced, or
I don't know.
Are there any
shit is so unpredictable. I'm not doing it personally.
With your Booker expertise, would you say that indoor seating socially distanced is no chance of getting the virus?
Yeah, you're totally safe if you come to our comedy club and sit inside, and that's we can back that up legally. Rick, you say I haven't.
You've gone out dining.
We visited my grandparents in Plymouth, and they tricked us and took us to an outdoor restaurant, and it was uncomfortable the whole time for me, but that was not indoors. If it was indoors, I would have to put my foot down and say, "Sorry, Mimi, but your dire, what's the word? Vile tricks aren't going to work on me this time."
Cancel my chicken tenders.
She's very wonderful. I've been to birthday parties for Rose's niece and nephew.
Well, yeah, there's that.
But that is where there's like 4 kids, and it's
they're all
outside.
nice people, so they wouldn't have the disease.
But it's all outdoors, and it is distanced, and it's with like 4 kids. But they're kids, and like, how much are they really distancing? And the answer is not that much. So maybe I have it.
Okay.
And in which case, let's go out to eat, baby. It's my last supper.
Let's make some antibodies.
Yeah, I have my summer beach antibody. Is that something? Rick, can I come in and be a guest lecturer in your class?
Guest heckler?
Turn the camera. You're already in there.
So you wouldn't mind if I interrupted things?
I'd say, hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is very exciting. We have a booker here to talk to us.
Today we're going to learn about hecklers.
Think of him as the guy who stocks my cool record store of a comedy club. Think of him as the guy who unloads the truck with the crates of records.
Yeah, he's Bart, and I'm the comic book store owner guy.
I get to be Bart?
You're Bart Simpson, yeah. And I'm...
Cowabunga, baby. Right? No, that's not what he said. Yeah, don't have a cow, man. You say cowabunga too?
I think he says cowabunga at one point or another.
Eat my shorts, bitch.
Yeah, he says that.
What you got?
Well, mine's not a comedy recommendation. Look, I'm running out of comedic things to recommend. But there's a show I started watching. It's on Netflix. It's made me chuckle a couple of times, but it is a drama. It's called Halt and Catch Fire. You guys heard of this?
No.
It's set in the world of 1980s computing. Set in Dallas, Texas during the personal computer revolution. And it's about a scrappy company that's trying to make a competitor to the IBM personal computer. And it's really good.
Nice.
It's really good.
It's supposed to be Apple?
Microsoft?
But no. And in fact, the season ends with, the first season is set in like 1983 or 1984. And maybe what I say next will make it more clear which. The season ends with one of the guys in the company watching the 1984 Super Bowl ad, the Apple ad, and just like being like, holy shit, they're fucking coming for us. Like, I saw this ad and I saw the future. So they're not Apple. But it's good. I find it really watchable. It's a good universe to spend some time in. So I recommend Halt and Catch Fire. And I've chuckled a couple times.
You know what people forget is that first, I think it was IBM, the first, they had Charlie Chaplin as their mascot logo for all the commercials for the personal computer, and it just bombed miserably. I forget why.
Well, in this show, IBM's presented as the big dog.
Yeah.
Which, what was the first computer you ever owned, Rick?
We had a TSR-80. from one of the Radio Shack things where, because I was writing plays at that point, and you would take an actual cassette, like from your record player, and put it into a player that would attach into the computer, and it would save your not even a Word document. It's just
right, your text.
Yeah.
Wow. How would you print it?
You had a dot matrix printer.
Wow.
You know, and break the little things of the sprockets off the side, and
you ever miss it? You ever wish you could go back?
No, because I've always been way behind on those things. You know, so I remember John Rogers bought a little word processor, and he's like, "Oh well, this is great because I can do this and this and this." And I say, "Well, unless there's a button that can make it funnier, why bother?" You're just putting down words. And
now there's Siri. There's the make funny button. Hey Siri, make this funny.
Yeah, Siri, punch up my script.
Yeah,
please. Stephen King wrote a story called Word Processor of the Gods about this guy who's in a miserable relationship with a shitty kid, and he gets a word processor, and all of his dreams, whatever he types, comes true. And I think he ends up like having his wife and son killed off or something so that he can have his brother's wife and kid because he likes them more.
Speaking of which, I saw an interview with Robin Williams and Bobcat Goldthwait from England about World's Greatest Dad. That piqued my interest. Like, oh, that might be something.
That's a dark one, isn't it?
Yeah, it sounds like a good dark movie to go check out again.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
I haven't seen it, no.
I haven't either, but Rosa has. It's very dark, apparently. You'd love it.
Yeah.
Have you seen God Bless America?
No.
Do you know the premise of it? We talked about it last episode very briefly.
Which one is that?
It's about, I don't know who's in it, but it's a Bobcat Goldthwait movie. It's about a guy he finds out he's got like terminal cancer. So he and this like teenage girl go like cross country, basically like killing like Instagram models and like people they find annoying, basically.
Yeah. No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I don't think you'd like that one.
Okay.
My local business, how could it be anything but Narragansett?
Is that local?
Staple of the comedy club.
No idea you got it down there.
We do have it down there. Yep.
Oh.
This is the lager. I've also really started to enjoy the Fresh Catch Ale. I've started getting into ales now.
Can I ask you a question, Danny?
Yeah.
Have you tried the Pabst Blue Ribbon hard coffee yet?
No, but I've seen it. Is it good?
Delicious.
Really?
It's like drinking a Yoo-Hoo.
So what makes it like PBR? Is just the brand?
It's just a branded PBR product. I don't know. I question it just as much as you do, but it is delicious because my roommate buys it a lot.
Because I see these like Corona makes, or Bud Light and Corona make seltzers now. And it's like, well, what makes it a Bud Light and Corona special or a seltzer? Excuse me.
Just that logo.
Just the logo, yeah. So the PBR hard coffee.
Apparently, Budweiser's
making a
non-alcoholic.
It's out now. I saw it. It's out.
You saw it?
Yeah.
I have not been able to find one.
I'll ship you a case. No, I won't.
Hey, if anybody listening to this has tried Bud Light non-alcoholic, let us know how it tastes.
Yeah.
We're avid non-alcoholic drinkers over here.
Yeah. So that's my my local business, my local Rhode Island business. All right, Eli, take us home.
I for sure you thought you were going to take my recommendation. My comedy recommendation is, of course, to watch the movie Click with Adam Sandler.
It is, it's good. It has funny parts.
It is funny to see how different the movie is from what the trailer made it look like. Because the trailer, I just remember, was just like that scene of him like pausing the jogger to watch her tits jiggle.
Yep,
and that's the trailer.
He does that. And do you remember when his boss is played by David Hasselhoff, and his boss is a real dick? And do you remember when he pauses while David Hasselhoff is eating lunch? Well, he slaps him, and then he climbs up on his desk and sticks his asshole in David Hasselhoff's face and lets out like a 45-second fart. And presses play. David Hasselhoff's like, what does my salad taste so awful all of a sudden? So there's those hijinks, and then there's like him dying in the rain in the future.
And this made you cry in the theater.
Yes, it made me well.
I was like,
I was also chopping
no.
onions for stew. What's that, Eli?
You brought onions into the movie theater and cut them?
Yeah, I snack on them like popcorn too. I just pull a raw onion out of my bag.
Well, it's because the movie has so many layers.
Yes, like Shrek.
And then
it's good. You know what? It's good. Click is a good movie.
And my small business recommendation is my favorite local restaurant here in Alston, the Avenue Bar and Grill. They do outdoor seating, and they also do takeout. Their food is delicious.
Great.
Where is it?
It's on ComAv here in Alston. It's like right at the corner of
Before or after Harvard?
It's at the corner of Harvard Ave and ComAv.
Oh, right.
It's like right across the street from where the old Great Scott was.
Great Scott and
Yep.
Blanchard's, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's the deal with Great Scott, by the way?
They're campaigning to move into the Regina's Pizza on the other side of Harvard Avenue, because that closed, so that space is available. So right now they're campaigning to just move to the other. Yeah.
So is anything happening with the old building yet, or like has that been sold?
I think it's already under a new owner. I just don't know what they're doing with it. So I guess my local business recommendation is to go support that Great Scott campaign to move to the Regina's Pizza, because that would be fantastic. And the chicken tenders at the Avenue are great. There you go.
There you go. Chicken tenders never fails. All right, guys. Hey, what a low key episode. Thor's brother. Loki.
Yeah.
Rick, your homework is to watch all the Marvel movies and report back to us by next podcast with your comprehensive thoughts. Well, good luck on Mike's podcast, Rick. I'm rooting for you.
You're gonna do great. There's our play out music.
Well, excuse me, I have a call I want to take.
Yep. All right. Hopefully you silence your phone when you're on Mike's show. All right. Bye, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Good night.
Merman.
It's Eugene Merman.
Yeah. Television's Eugene Merman.
Tell him Danny says hi.
Ooh, pizza's here.